Cancer, hello, how are you? I'm back. Hope some of you are still around. I'm going to pull some cards for you. We're going to do past energy, current energy, where these energies might be taking you. Bearing in mind everyone has free will, you and other people. So yeah, this line is kind of futurish, but the way I see it, it's more about kind of exploring options, what the consequences of various energies might be. I'm not here to give you some sort of set in stone destiny or solid future predictions. It's not really the way these collective readings work, okay? So take what resonates, leave the rest. Use it as a springboard, hopefully, to get to know yourself better. Yeah. Let's see what we've got for you. Cancer, past energy. I always used to get the King of Cups for you, Cancer, when I was doing my readings before. Always used to come through as this kind of mediator energy. Alright, I see we've got you couldn't make it up. So this deck, this deck's equivalent of the King of Cups. Obviously I had it in my mind that I associate that with mediator energy, and now my mind's getting in the way of reading now, which is interesting because we've got the Ten of Swords come out with it. The mind getting in the way, the mind getting in the way. This feels like the mind getting in the way. You've also got a reverse Queen of Swords. Swords again pertaining to logic and the mind. Let's just step out of that and get some current energies so that when I go back to it I'm a bit more, yeah, interesting. Okay, current energy, Emperor. Alright. Current energy for Cancer. Six of Wands there at the centre of your reading. That feels very transformative, that Six of Wands, to be honest. Next to it we have the Five of Wands, which is interesting. Just in this deck, this Six of Wands does feel really transformative, yeah. Interesting the Fives come out after. We'll get underneath that. And kind of future energy for Cancer, please. Seven of Pentacles. How do we grow? How do we grow this thing? Two of Cups has come out sideways. Ace of Swords. Interesting. Magician on the bottom of the deck. Ah. So a lot of my other readings have felt quite similar, but you're bringing a different energy to the table, Cancer, I feel. But we'll see what's going on. I mean, often what's going on in the collective, it's kind of not all that dissimilar. The readings will often have a common theme running through them. It's weird like that. Just from the different standpoints of the signs. I mean, that is something that Steve's Love Tarot talks about an awful lot, so I'm not going to pretend that's some unique idea, but I agree with them. I agree with him about a lot of things. The overall energy of your reading. Six of Wands and the Magician. Bringing about a transformation. Bringing about a transformation here. So the Magician does speak about like co-creation with the universe, so I feel like you're really tapped into the current energies and really using them to your advantage. Yeah, as an overall energy, that's basically what's coming through. Using them to advance your own transformation, I think. Let's look at past. Two of Pentacles, Mother of Swords reverse, Ten of Swords, and that Father of Cups, which just came as an extra one, right? You see, I normally do 3 a row, and this Father of Cups came out as an extra one, right as I was talking about that King of Cups energy that you just so often bring to the table, Cancer. But you know what? The King of Cups is coming through to me more and more as, yes, that unconditional love, yes, that open-heartedness, but also, I don't want to say guardedness with it, but there is a certain composure. There's a certain composure that I'm feeling the King of Cups has. And I see it in your energy in this past situation. I do. But I'm just wondering if sometimes that composure comes about through swords, i.e. logic and reason and rationality and possibly some overthinking. And then I wonder if that thing that looks like composure then isn't really composure, it's actually a bit of detachment. A bit of detachment from your emotions. We've got no cups on this past row apart from the Father of Cups. And the only other cups we've got in the reading is this sort of sideways 2 of Cups. Yeah, there's a bit of a sense of... There is a bit of a sense of detachment from your emotions in some way here in this past. And it's making decision making hard for you. Because you're a water sign, you're Cancer, you need that connection with your emotions, possibly connection with someone else's emotions, to be able to properly balance things out, properly be able to make decisions. So that's your past. We'll come back to it. I'm going to just do a summary of each line and then dig. Current energy, Emperor. See, that does feel stoic, the way that Father of Cups could, but yeah, there's a certain stoicism here. I don't know, but there's a very transformative energy of the whole read. So obviously this energy of transformation is available to you, so it's just about accessing it, I think, and recognizing the barriers. And this is one of the barriers that is obviously coming up, is this slight detachment from emotions, which I'm not having a go at you for. I mean, for God's sake, it's hard. It's hard. This shit's hard. Yeah. So then we've got... I'm viewing this as a sort of inner conflict for you about how to not detach from these emotions. It's almost like there's a recognition within you that something's a little bit amiss, and somehow you need to titrate your emotions. You need to access your emotions in a gentle, safe way, something like that. Future energy. This, it's the 2 of Cups, but it doesn't feel romantic to me at this stage. For some of you, when we get underneath it, maybe it will be. You're seeking clarity on a 2 of Cups situation. So this is some sort of relationship in your life. It could be a relationship with your work, it could be a relationship with a friend, a family member. Yes, it could be romantic, but it's honestly not coming through that way for most of you. Anyway, some sort of relationship which you expect to be reciprocal, some sort of relationship for which it is correct for it to be reciprocal. We're not talking mother-child here, because that expectation of reciprocity would be wrong in that situation. And this card speaks about that reciprocity. I hate that word. I'm so struggle to say it, but it's an important word for a tarot card reader. But almost I feel like you're wondering, well, should this be reciprocal? Is that too high an expectation to place on this relationship? the way it's come out sideways, because that's always what sideways cards for me mean. It's like a, yeah, I don't know how else to put it apart from how I put it. And then connected to this. So that's probably what you might be lacking, because this is upright, but I am feeling a bit of a lack of clarity, and I think it's maybe there's a bit of a lack of clarity in your own mind around whether your expectation is correct, that this should be reciprocal, or should I be doing more in this area, and then maybe this other person does more in this other area, and is that okay for it to balance out that way, and something like that. It feels like it might relate to some sort of project that you're working on or something for a lot of people. It does feel quite pentacles based. So what I mean by that is it could relate to your work life in some way, or your career in some way. It doesn't have to be. But Seven of Pentacles has come in here to say, right, this is where we're at. How do we grow this? Not necessarily what direction do we take it in, but how, if we're agreed on direction, how do we take it in that direction? There would have to be agreement on the direction. I don't think there is disagreement on any direction. Anyway, hope that is making sense. It's sort of an evaluation, if you like. And creating a plan for growth. Let's dig onto this past energy then. Because I feel that you're having trouble with a decision in this past. So let's get underneath that Two of Pentacles for you. What is the nature of this decision that Cancer is struggling with in the past? Seven of Wands. Yeah. Ties in with what I was saying about this Two of Cups. Because Seven of Wands is all about standing up for yourself, standing up for your needs, standing up for your rights. It can be standing up for someone else's needs and rights as well, so if that's more how it applies for you, take it that way. But there's this question mark over it, which comes back to this Two of Cups, which is, am I asking too much almost? Is my expectation of reciprocity fair here? I think you've got your head screwed on, Cancer. If you're asking that question, I think, well, you have to find that within yourself, but it's not coming through as you being unfair to me. Anything else on this Two of Pentacles? The nature of the decision that Cancer was struggling with here. The nature of the decision that Cancer was struggling with here. The Star. Came out reversed, but you have a look at it upright. See how it speaks to you. Well, there's just very much here the feeling that something has to be done. A decision does need to be made, is the feeling that I'm getting. There's this bit of a feeling of like leaky energy. I don't know how else to say it. You see the way she's concentrating so much on this cup. It's almost like she's forgot, like she's just been scatterbrained or just forgotten that this cup at the back's leaking because she's so focused on this. So how would that apply to your life and this decision that you're having trouble making? I feel like you're putting a lot of energy, or in the past here at least, you're putting a lot of energy into all the considerations around this decision, particularly this consideration of this Two of Cups thing we were talking about, and it's sort of meant that other stuff neglect feels like a very strong word, but that's sort of what I'm getting at. Like you took your eye off a pan boiling on a stove. Oh, I'm just seeing a pan boiling over on a stove. What's that all about? Because you're so focused on this decision that's bugging you or something, these thoughts about, am I being reasonable almost? And then it's like you turn around and you're like, oh shit, the pasta's boiling over. It's almost like some sort of practical thing has gone a bit to pot because there's so much focus on this decision. That's so weird. I mean, that could be very literal for some of you. I don't know, but take it as a metaphor if that makes more sense. Cancer, cancer, cancer. Oh, this is weird. I'm actually having a bit of a problem kind of pinning down your energy, which I've not had with any of the other signs. And I've done 1, 2, 3, 5 readings. I suppose you're on my 6th reading. Is that why? I don't know. But is it just your watery energy? It could just be your watery energy I'm getting lost in. What I need is this. This is what I need. Right. Let's dig. I mean, I think, when you notice that this pasta's boiling over, however metaphorically that applies for you, I think you're very cross at yourself. And I would like to ask you to be a bit nicer to yourself, actually, if you don't mind, Cancer. Anything else about... Oh, so we've now got the King of Swords come out in reverse. Very sharp words. I mean, this could be someone else. The King of Swords almost does feel like someone else. The Mother of Swords feels like you, but this is someone who's like come in and been directed very sharp words at you because this pasta's boiled over. This bloody metaphorical pasta that I'm just going to ride with probably for the whole reading. Right. And actually, it feels like some of your Two of Cups dilemma is around like this treatment from this King of Swords here, actually. It's like it's not okay to be spoken to like that. You made a mistake, right? It's not okay to be spoken to like you wouldn't speak to them like that. This is what we're coming. This is why with this Two of Cups is here. This is why we're talking about this reciprocity. You wouldn't speak like that to them, right? But they're speaking like that to you. You would speak like it to yourself though, Cancer, with the Queen of Swords, wouldn't you? You would, which is noteworthy. But my point is, you wouldn't speak like that to them, so you don't expect them to speak like that to you. But then you're questioning yourself, well, is that unreasonable? Just because I wouldn't like that, am I then, maybe I'm placing an unfair expectation on someone else though to not speak to me like that just because that's my way, sort of thing. But then underneath that we've got you speaking to yourself like that. I'm getting a bit repetitive, but I hope you catch my drift. 10 of Swords. 10 of Swords. Something's come to an end here, because we've now got the 6 of Swords. You're moving away. Yeah, decision made. We've gone from wavering. It's so funny. This is the past. This is the row for the past, but actually, to be honest, it's almost gone past, current, future in some sort of weird, mixed up way that just sometimes happens with the energies. Anyway, look. I feel like you made a decision. There was wavering over this decision, and then I feel like you've made a decision to cut off from this King of Swords reversed energy and like fucking own your King of Cups-ness. Because, this is a card of an ending anyway, and then this is also about walking away from storminess into calmer waters. And the Father of Cups is pretty fucking calm, so I would say mission accomplished, actually, Cancer, and well done. The only thing is attached to all of this is a reversed Hermit, which when you do step away from this and you want that processing time, I think the Hermit, that inward energy is a good energy to step into, but I would just say this comes with a bit of a caveat of Oh, I'm really being drawn to how the star there and then there's a star in there. The caveat though would be with this Hermit, sometimes when it's in reverse it can be a bit of an unhealthy withdrawal. And we were talking about that sort of emotional detachment on this top line, weren't we, at one point? So that connects with that. So, there's questions being asked about this Hermit energy and am I taking time out for healthy introspection, or am I just withdrawing and shutting off? And you know, you probably flip between those energies a bit or something, right? It's not exactly black and white, but that question is coming up for you, so I think it's something for you to consider. Let's look at current energies now. Let's dig onto these current energies. They're quite interesting because we do have this very transformative Six of Wands, but there's a slight detachment and there's conflict. Let's get underneath that Emperor in your current energy. Let's do that. I'm not on schedule to get this reading out in half an hour, which is kind of what I'm aiming for and which is what I have managed for the other readings, but I just feel like I've slowed right down for your reading. I don't know, this just this watery, I don't know what it is with you Cancers. Just like, all right, okay. It's kind of this King of Cups calmness, I guess. I hope it's real. I don't know, it feels a bit spacey or something, so I'm not sure if your energy's a bit spacey or something. I don't know. Emperor, what's underneath this Emperor? The Emperor isn't spacey anyway. What's underneath this Emperor? That's too many cards. What's underneath this Emperor for Cancer, please? What's underneath this Emperor for Cancer, please? Thank you. Yeah. This energy is holding back your transformation. It's holding back this Six of Wandsness. Eight of Swords is a very difficult place to be, Cancer. It's underneath your Emperor. And I was getting a sort of sense of aloofness, maybe, from this Emperor. And no wonder he's aloof, because underneath it all there's Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords is sort of being trapped by your own thoughts, almost blinded by your own thoughts. And often when this Emperor comes out and I see this eclipse, I do think of a sort of the idea of stuff being hidden. And then we've pulled the Eight of Swords, which has the blindfold. So you're hiding stuff from you. You're hiding this. This is what you're hiding from yourself. Three of Wands. A longing. There's a longing for something that's a bit underneath the surface, that's holding back your transformation. What are you longing for? What are you longing for? What's the Three of Wands longing for? What's that all about? Oops. Ace of Pentacles. Yeah. The Six of Pentacles again speaks of that reciprocity that you weren't getting, that you were asking yourself, is it unreasonable for me to ask? You did have it at one point. You had it at the beginning. You had it at the beginning of whatever this was, and that's what you're longing for. You're longing for things to be like they were at the beginning of whatever this is for you. Okay. But because you're burying that longing, it's holding you back in your transformation. There's a transformation that could take place here, or possibly is taking place for some of you anyway, because possibly you've already dealt with this. But I just feel like until you bring this to the surface and become aware that it's almost like you're grieving the loss of something, like the loss of sort of how something turned out, because it was an Ace of Pentacles. It had so much potential, but then it seems the way it panned out, it became uneven or something. And I sort of feel like perhaps the emotion of that situation hasn't been dealt with, and it's all under a very stoic, aloof, almost detached-ish emperor who's giving this air of stability, but underneath it, it feels like the stuff that needs to come to the surface, because then you can be a beautiful butterfly. But with transformation, what is it that we're transforming? This is what needs to be transformed almost. It's almost like this grief or this sense of loss or sense of disappointment that things didn't turn out. It needs to sort of come up, because that's almost part of the recipe for transformation. I hope that makes sense. And the Five of Wands, I think, is here because you kind of recognise this on some sort of level, and it's sort of a bit of a conflict within yourself. Do I keep it under the Emperor or do I bring it up to the surface? Yeah. Okay, I think we'll leave it there for current energies. I don't think I really need to dig anymore because I've got underneath that Emperor, and well, of course I could dig more, but we have to keep these readings somehow not going on forever, even though I probably could. Okay, so how does this carry through into future? Because this, it feels like there are still questions about some sort of growth of something here. I don't know if it connects back to this or if it's a different situation for you. You'll have to take it as it resonates. Maybe when I clarify it might help. Yeah, okay, let's ask then. Because there's questions about how to grow something here, and what is that? What is that? Does it pertain to something up here? What is Cancer analysing and evaluating here? It didn't fall on the table, so I'm not going to take it. The King of Swords. King of Swords, it does link back to a past situation that I kind of got you as walking away from. Two of Pentacles. Yeah, both of these cards link back to that. Right, okay. Well, you've stepped away from it on some sort of level, but yet here you're showing up as still considering how to grow it. That's interesting. I guess hopefully the situation that you're in, this is somehow making sense to you then. Yeah, I mean, I suppose you can take a step back from a situation, and particularly sort of emotionally and energetically take a step back from the situation, but the situation is still in the real world something that decisions need to be made about. And I guess that's what's coming through with this Seven of Pentacles. I mean, yeah, and we've got the Two of Pentacles again, so decisions. So yeah, okay, so it does feel like decisions are still being needed to be made about how to grow this. And so I feel like what's going to help you make these decisions is finding clarity about your own expectations about kind of who should be doing what almost, and what it's fair to expect of each other. I mean, it's two cups. This isn't necessarily two people. It's not necessarily coming through to me like that, but it could be for some of you. Yeah. So it's about getting clarity about your own expectations, I think. So let's ask how could Cancer get that clarity? Because the energy's available to you, and I kind of see it happening, really, if we're going to be all predicty about it, which I tend not to be. But okay, it's more about exploring how, why, whatever. So how can Cancer get this clarity around their own expectations? Two of Swords. Two of Swords reversed. That's interesting. See that it's this blindfold again. She's throwing daggers or swords wearing a blindfold. It's almost like the universe is saying, take the blindfold off, Cancer. Where else did we have the we had the blindfold with the Eight of Swords, of course, and then that eclipsey thing with the Emperor, which speaks similarly to me. Like this deck, the Two of Swords, shares this eclipse, so this Two of Swords links back to this Emperor to me. See anything else about getting clarity? I mean, yeah. I mean, God, I think that's total sense, doesn't it? It's sort of a bit circular though, because it's like, this is the Sword of Truth. How do we get clarity? And then the Two of Swords comes up, which is that lack of clarity and that need to find the eight, you know, to find which sword is the Sword of Truth. It's a bit circular, which does happen, and it is sort of good in that it gives us confirmation that I'm not chatting complete shit, but can we just get anything more for you, I wonder, about how you can get clarity? I suppose there's something about being... There's almost something about being comfortable in this Two of Swords energy that then somehow does bring you this clarity. I don't know. Almost something about accepting this Two of Swords energy for what it is, accepting the lack of clarity for what it is, and that somehow helps bring about clarity. Does that make sense, my loves? I don't know. The Empress reversed. Pregnant Empress. Yeah, often she is. With a dog and a cat in an orchard, I would say. I would say those are apple trees. Come out reverse. So part of the reason you don't have clarity is because you're not in this Empress energy quite. And this Empress energy is what? It is productive, it's abundant, it's nurturing, it's caring. And it's available to you, but you're not quite in it. And if you were, you would have more clarity. So how do you get into your Empress energy? How do you get into your Empress energy? Wheel of Fortune reversed. It's pointing at the home. It's pointing at the home. See that? I feel like that's relevant. It's like you're being asked to consider the environment around you. You're being asked to kind of, and this is a bit far out for a Wheel of Fortune interpretation, isn't it? I've got to admit that, even for me, but because, you know, we've got all different things here. We've got a heart, we've got a, that looks like a pot of money, an engagement ring, a book. So, you know, there's all stuff being represented here, and then we've got the home space. It's almost like there's something here about creating a feeling of comfort in your environment, in your physical space, that's going to help you enter into that Empress energy, which is then going to bring about more clarity. some sort of clarity or even confidence, I want to say, because I don't think you're wrong in asking what you're asking of this situation, this person, whatever on earth it is. I don't think you're wrong to be wanting some level of give and take, some level of even give and take. And I think it's just about finding the confidence to know that within yourself. And I think that's sort of what this Empress energy's getting at. And for some reason, the way it's coming through is that to find that confidence, you'll be helped to find that confidence by creating a more comfortable environment around yourself in some way. I don't know how else to explain it. I mean, I hope that makes sense to you in your life in some way, because it's like I'm feeling the energies, and sometimes I'm quite good at giving examples of what those energies look like in real life, but I'm a little bit struggling to make it that accessible or something. What's on the bottom? The Nine of Wands in reverse. She doesn't feel safe, does she? She's like ready for attack. So that's why your home environment can give you comfort. This reading's gone on too long and I'm sorry, but I dig where I dig and the energies take me where they take me. Yes, okay. So it's about making your home environment or your immediate surroundings in some way a comfortable place in the sense that your nervous system isn't getting triggered. Because when your nervous system is getting triggered a lot, of course that affects your ability to have clarity. And for some reason it's coming through as stuff in your home environment, and what steps can you take to avoid triggering yourself in your home environment. So for example, here comes the example. When I first moved to this house, for various reasons, if I had my curtains open and I saw someone walking down the street, it would actually produce quite a reaction in me. I won't go into all the whys and the wherefores and all that, I won't. But what I had to do in that situation for that period of time in my life was just bloody shut my curtains, because that was not something my nervous system needed to deal with at that time. Now I'm fine, I can have my curtains open, it's fine. It was when I very first moved here, and that's what I needed to do to create that sense of safety within my home. Now I have a more solid sense of safety. I can have the curtains open and have that walk past and have that person walk past, and it doesn't do the same thing to me. But there's something here about creating safety in your own environment such that you're not having a sort of nervous system reaction, which is then putting you in a place of sort of not having clarity because your nervous system's shut down or whatever. Right, I'm glad I finally got an example for you to try to translate the energies. Phew, okay, Cancer, wow. That's dragged on. I really hope it's been of use for you, I really do. And yeah, it's always difficult bloody ending the readings, isn't it? But that's where we're at. I think I've done what I can for you. I'll see you next time. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here and you've not subscribed yet and you would like to subscribe, I would happily welcome you. Although I do have 111 subscribers as I'm recording this, which is a very nice number, so maybe don't bother. I'm only joking. I'll probably now I've lost a few, probably with my music videos. Alright, I'm going to stop blabbing and I'll leave you to it. Alright, Cancer, see you next time.